Right. We were talking last time about the importance of appropriate paramparas that suit your personality, that suit your style. That is because each parampara is governed by a major tattva or elemental principle. They are also called the Pancha Mahabhuta, the five elements of earth, water, fire, air and spirit. Spirit, of course, cannot govern a parampara. All paramparas are so that one develops spirit. Nevertheless, there are certain paramparas which deal by energizing the bodily functions. They strengthen the body, they make the body react in multiple ways. There are other paramparas which are focused, because they are the water element, they focus on working with the emotions, with deepening your emotions, with deepening your commitment. They deepen your love, your compassion. There are other paramparas which work with intellect, with the mind, your ideas, your concepts. They refine it. Everything that is untrue, false, demeaning, limiting, diminishing, they work purely by intellectual concepts. And then there are paramparas which work at the higher level. There are paramparas which work purely from the fire tattva, which means that they work purely through pranayama. They work purely through energizing and charging the body and burning up whatever limitations. Now you got to know what kind of person you are. Are you predominantly a body-centric person? Are you a person who likes to work the body a lot? Are you a person who learns from his or her body? Because the body has a consciousness and a wisdom of its own, and many people, that's where their learning happens. Are you a head-centered person? Then you have to find an intellectual parampara. And you will learn through the mind, you will learn through refinement of concepts, you will learn through refinement of ideas, attitudes, perceptions. Are you a person who is completely dominated by the heart, by emotions? Then you work with that. How can I not be controlled by my emotions, but how can I deepen them, how can I strengthen them, how can I use my emotions as a vehicle to advance, to move forward on the spiritual path. And if none of these work, if you are in conflict with all this, then the fire kind of parampara, usually Kriya Yoga, some form of Kriya Yoga, they teach you, alright, get control of the breath. Get control of the breath, burn up every limitation. They just oxygenate you, or they just bring up your internal Kundalini energy or your internal pranamaya kosha to such an extent that it just burns up whatever limitation, and then what is left is the state of attainment or entertainment. So every parampara has these certain, I wouldn't call them limitations, but I would say every parampara has these certain basic parameters. And so that is why you find people, they go from one guru to another, one group to another, and then they finally say, this is what is working. It is not that the others do not work, it is that it was not their core tattva, it was not their core element. A body-centered person, there is no point giving him Vedanta. And a fire-centered person, also there is no point giving him Vedanta, not in the early stages at least. You need to get him to experience that. You need to get him to have all those dramatic interior experiences, visions. He needs to fly in the air and go to astral travel. Then he will feel calm about it. A body-centered person needs to feel that the body has shaken up, transformed, become loose. Then they think, oh, now we are being spiritual. Not so. But that is what you will resonate with, because that is your basic vibration. So every parampara has to deal with this. A really good guru knows what kind of person has come and knows what kind of sadhana or what kind of spiritual process to give to the person. Because they know what is the core tattva, they know what is the core basic functioning element within that person. This does not always happen. That is why people tend to end up being disappointed. It is not really the fault of the guru or even the system, because many people are not aware of these things. People are not aware that, okay, our parampara deals only with the body, or our parampara deals only with emotions. It touches, at the deeper levels it touches, but the fundamental approach, if it does not immediately start giving some kind of spiritual benefit, some kind of payback to the practitioner, the person feels there is something wrong with the system. There is nothing wrong with the system, it just may not be appropriate for you. That is all there is to it. So the Annamaya kosha, or the body sheath, the food sheath, that has the parampara which work with the body. Then you have the pranamaya kosha, those are the paramparas that works with the emotions. Then you have the manomaya kosha, those are the paramparas that work with the kriya, and then you have vijnanamaya kosha, those are the paramparas that work with the mental processes. Now you need to know yourself first. Before entering into some kind of spiritual process, you need to at least have a reasonable approximation as to what kind of person are you. Are you a body-centric person, emotion-centric person, energy-centric person, or mind-centric person? And then choose the appropriate parampara for yourself. If that does not happen, you will end up blaming the parampara, or very often the people practicing will end up blaming you. You are not trying hard enough. You should just try harder and everything will work. Both approaches are inadequate, both approaches are proceeding from lack of full information. A parampara is complete in itself. You may not be appropriate at that time in your evolution. Now this is a little difficult to grasp. This is a little difficult to accept. But this is the truth. All lineages are equally valid. You might not be appropriate. You might not be in the right condition to practice that. You just might need another teacher. That is perfectly okay. People of course feel as if it is some kind of great betrayal. You learned one process, it does not work for you. Oh, how could you betray the lineage? You have done Guru Droha. That is not true. No reasonable guru, no sensible guru ever has a problem that somebody leaves. They know it is not appropriate for the person. But these are all the perceptions about yoga, and the truth about yoga, as always, is an entirely different matter. Cut.